Hello and welcome to the part 3 of the baremetal as a service with OpenStack. Today we're going to look at the multi-tenancy for baremetal. So the two windows at the top, these are the KVM consoles for the two baremetal nodes we're going to discover first. On the right here, this window is a show command for my top of racks Arista switch, looking at the 4 ports that are attached, two per each of those supermicro nodes up top. And then on the left is my console to the OpenStack itself. So first I'm going to power off those nodes and make sure Ironic and Inspector can inspect them and add them to my list of Ironic nodes. Excellent. Our two baremetal nodes are now discovered. Let's take a look what has been discovered from the networking perspective. I'm going to look at the baremetal port list output first. And as you can see, this matches what I mentioned earlier. There are 2 ports per node. Let's dive deeper into what these ports are showing underneath. Gonna execute port shown one of them. And then the important thing to note is under the local link location, we have a two field, the port ID and the switch ID. Port ID is represents individual port on a switch, and this in this case is the Ethernet 11. And the switch ID is the MAC address of the switch that has been discovered through the LLDP commands. So next up, we need to clean and manage the nodes. So I'm gonna execute a quick little script for this, and let's wait for them to finish cleaning up to be able to deploy some instances up top. Okay, nodes are now cleaned up and available for us to deploy. If you look at the switch view on the right, please note that the VLANs, the native VLANs on two provisioning ports, has changed from the 320, which is my baremetal VLAN, to the default VLAN, which in this case is number 1. Let's go ahead. We're now ready to provision the operating system on these baremetal nodes. But let's take a look at the networks that we have available first. Okay, we have a few networks available, and they're all different VLANs. Let's dive deeper into one of them. Let's look at the provider 2. And over here we can see that this particular network is tagged with the VLAN 316. So we're going to go ahead and deploy 2 instances since we have 2 nodes. The first instance is going to be with just a single network, and we're going to use the provider 2 network that we just viewed here. So I'm going to execute that. And the second network, or the second instance, I'm going to try to take advantage of both of the ports and attach that second baremetal nodes with the 2 separate networks. Again, with that provider 2, as well as the external network that was also listed over there. Okay, let's wait for the nodes to deploy, and please pay attention to the switch view on the right to see how the VLANs are being assigned to the correct ports. Okay, our baremetal nodes completed the boot. Please note on the right side that all of the interfaces that we intended to use, they got defined with the corresponding VLAN. So VLAN 316 is equivalent to the provider 2 network, and VLAN 318 is my external network. So let's just take a look at all of the IPs that got assigned, and let's see if we can ping them. So let's start with the first BM1 instance. Let's see if we can ping this IP. Okay. How about 16, which is the let's see if we can ping the. Oh, I see. The problem here is the node I'm doing it with has IP address on this particular interface. So when I'm trying to ping the other provider network, it ends up in an async routing. But the external network pings, and then just to confirm, let's SSH to the one that did not ping on the other interface, and make sure he can indeed reach out on both interfaces. So let's look at his APs, and then if we scroll back up and see the other node was 6.13. So just to make sure he can actually connect on that interface. And he does. So that concludes this demo for multi-tenancy for OpenStack running. Thank you.